Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to Philadelphia. Jay Glazer mentioned on the pregame show that Robert Griffin III wore a knee brace all during this week at practice. He still was trying to get comfortable with it this morning during warm-ups. He told me the key today is to keep adjusting it, making sure it doesn't cut off circulation, but also he wants to make sure that it provides the protection he needs. He said he's not looking to scramble, but he's definitely not looking to avoid it either. He said he will be in constant communication today with Mike Shanahan, telling him how that knee is feeling and what he's comfortable doing and not doing. Thom?
All right, Laura, thank you very, very much. Another big story today. Andy Reid, 14 years, 9 times, has taken the Eagles to the playoffs. So many are speculating that at season's end, he will be relieved of his duties by the owner, Jeffrey Lurie. Meanwhile, for Mike Shanahan, many critics after Week 9, the Redskins slipped to 3-6. Openly debated about the character of this team, and they've not lost a game. Winning 5 in a row, the hottest team in the NFC. Philadelphia wins the toss, elects to receive, and Bryce Brown, who will share the running back duties today with LaShawn McCoy, brings it up to the 24. Of course, Nick Foles now the quarterback, taking over this his 6th start since relieving the injured Michael Vick.
LaShawn McCoy is back. We may see both he and Bryce Brown in the backfield, and Jeremy Maclin and Riley Cooper have accounted for 20 receptions over the last 2 weeks.
Of course, Riley Cooper getting valuable playing time after the injury to Deshaun Jackson. So it is first down, and they pitch it to McCoy. Back for the first time in a month, and he carries up to the 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6. You may remember LaShawn McCoy suffered his concussion against the Redskins. And that's when the Eagles were trailing by 25 points with 2 minutes left in the game. And Andy Reid said, and LaShawn McCoy said, I wanted to be in the game.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? If he didn't, what would be people would be saying? They're saying, well, he's laying down on his team. He's not being a professional. Hey, we got 2 games to play. I want to be a part of it.
First throw for Foles, and he dumps it off out of the backfield to McCoy, and he has enough for a first down up to the 37-yard line. Now this Redskin defense has given up 350 points on the year, 23rd worst in the league, and yet they're getting better and better.
Kerrigan and Jackson bring pressure off the back end. The anchor is London Fletcher, and D'Angelo Hall is looking for his 40th interception. This group, last time they played against this Eagle team, they had 2 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, and 5 sacks.
Out of the shotgun, and split wide to the left was McCoy, and the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. We mentioned that Foles has started the last 5 games, now a 6, played 23 quarters of football since he replaced the injured Michael Vick in mid-November. His first start, that 31-6 defeat against these Redskins, sacked 4 times through 2 interceptions, but in the last 4 games, he's only thrown 1 pick against 4 touchdowns. They give it to Bryce Brown, still on his feet, and appears to be very close to a first down. Needed to reach the 47-yard line. About a half a yard short, it appears.
Well, people have been talking about the way Bryce Brown carries the ball. You can see here, hold it good and tight right there, high and tight as they say, but see how it swings? See how it gets away from his body? That has caused a problem and something that concerns Andy Reid. They're working on it. It's just the way the kid carries the ball. But I tell you what, if he puts this thing on the ground, he's not going to be in there very much.
3rd down and a foot. And I'm not sure Brown got there. They tried to go behind the left side of that offensive line, Evan Mathis and King Dunlap. But Reed Dowdy came up from the safety spot, and Rob Jackson, an emerging force on this Redskin defense. And here on 4th down, the Eagles are going to go for it, their opening possession of the game.
And why not? You're 4-10. It's a divisional game. Why wouldn't you put your team in this situation? Let's see what we're made of.
9 of 16 are the Eagles on 4th down this season. Play fake one way, and Foles an easy target. And a first down finds his tight end who missed last week's game with a concussion, Brent Selleck. So a fourth down conversion for the Eagles, a gain of 15.
That's a tendency breaker. I want you to watch Folds going out, Nick Folds going out to the left. You don't typically do that going away from your shoulder. That's a tendency breaker. I'm sure Washington didn't expect that coming out to the left side. Pretty good throw by Folds.
McCoy first down, dropped behind the line of scrimmage. And we mentioned Rob Jackson, an emerging force on the Washington defense. He's made the decisive play defensively in each of the last 3 weeks. He has 3 sacks over the last 3 games.
And this is what I was talking about, losing players early. He's playing in for Brian Arakpo. That's a pretty good combination, Arakpo and Kerrigan. Jackson said, give me a chance. They did, and he's responded brilliantly.
Jackson, a 7th-round draft pick back in 2008 out of Kansas State. Play fake on second down, and Foles throws incomplete. It was Jackson on the coverage, and he was clinging to Jeremy Maclin. That duo of Maclin and then Deshaun Jackson only had 2 catches in the first game against the Redskins.
Nick Foles is not a great athlete. You're not going to see him outside the pocket doing a lot of spectacular things, but he moves pretty well in the pocket for a big man, and it's amazing. He's fairly accurate when his body gets in some odd positions, which is the sign of a good quarterback. You don't always get to sit in the pocket, paddle your feet a little bit, and throw the ball in a nice, clean environment.
3rd down and 12. They need to get to the Washington 29 to continue this game-opening drive. Foles steps up, throws, and very close to another first down, depending on where they spot it. That's Jason Avant. Well, you got to believe they went for it 4th down a moment ago. They would do so once more.
Kerrigan's on the right side. He's the guy they've got to be aware of, so they chip him with the tight end, want to give some help. And there again, look at Folds climb the pocket, gets brushed a little bit, and is able to deliver a fairly accurate pass under duress. Right in here, climbing up the top of the pocket, moving. A quarterback very rarely gets to sit in the pocket, like I said. You're constantly moving around. Some people call it having a different platform to throw from. I don't know what that means. All I know is a guy can either throw the ball on the run or he can't.
That much short of a first down, and we mentioned a moment ago they went for it, but here they would be closer to field goal range. But Andy Reid has decided we're going for a second time.
You can't go for one and not the other. You know, I understand you want to get points, but again, you're 4-10. You converted the first time. This is all about, what do we say, to start in the open. This is finding out about some things about my young football team, not the least of which is Nick Foles. Can we step up into this opportunity to keep a drive alive for 7?
10th play of the drive. 4th down and less than a yard.
Sprint pass to the right. Nope.
Foles spins off the pile and converts on another 4th down.
When you're 6'5", 250 pounds, that's not a bad option right there. Does a nice job of just slipping. He sees where the hole is. He's just like a pinball. I'm going to roll and spin to wherever I have to. They wadded it up on the inside. You can see Washington knew that they had to protect against the sneak. He just rolled to the outside and got the first down.
Foles looking to the end zone. Touchdown, Jeremy Maclin. There is a penalty flag down on the field, but it looked like a Redskin crossed the line of scrimmage prior to the snap. We'll see if it stands. And it is a touchdown.
I tell you what I like about that. That was Aaron Rodgers-esque. I will tell you this, and here it's just a release on the outside. There's the offsides. The minute Nick Foles saw that, I say Aaron Rodgers-esque. If you see that against Aaron Rodgers, I promise you he's going to deep. I don't even care if anybody's down the field. He's going to take that shot deep. Why not? You're playing on house money. Nick Foles saw that and took his shot.
Point after is good by Alex Henry. A very impressive opening drive for the Eagles. 76 yards, chewing up nearly 5 minutes, and a touchdown to Jeremy Maclin.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
That crack in the Liberty Bell, 24.5 inches long, a half-inch wide, last rang in 1846 on George Washington's birthday. 11 plays, 76 yards. Only 24 points had been scored by the Eagles in the first quarter this entire year. Niles Paul initially bobbles a kickoff, and now the big fella's off to the races, and he can run. Crossing midfield and run out of bounds at the 46-yard line, and there is a penalty flag down all the way back at the 15.
During the return, holding by the receiving team, number 51. Half the distance to the goal. Washington keeps the ball, first down.
So that big return will back them up inside their own 10. An early score as the Saints lead the Cowboys 7-0. We'll be watching all the NFC action all day today.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
7-0 Eagles. Robert Griffin III, and the Redskins get their first crack at it offensively and immediately put it in the hands of a dynamic rookie runner, Alfred Morris. A 52-yard return wiped away on the holding penalty against Chris Wilson.
You can see right here, Emil Iwunagu gets held a little bit here, a little pedestrian for my liking by Chris Wilson. But as you say, this is a 45-yard difference in field position. That's a big penalty.
Yeah, they would have had the ball at the Philadelphia 46. Instead, they start this drive from their own 9. Back-to-back carries for Morris, and this one sniffed out by D'Amico Ryans in his first year as an Eagle after his first 6 seasons with the Houston Texans. Big story today for the Redskins. For the first time all year long, they do not have the same 5 offensive linemen that have started every game. Maurice Hurt starts in place of Tyler Columbus.
Pierre Garçon and Santana Moss, always the big play down the field.
Columbus suffering a concussion in the win over Cleveland last week, and now the first throw of the game by Robert Griffin III, right on the money as it's been all season long. He finds Leonard Hankerson, who caught a pair of touchdown passes last week, and a 3rd and 9 conversion.
Good patience by RG3 here, just waiting for Hankerson to pull up, and very nice job of Hankerson knowing where the first down marker is. He knew he wasn't going to have a lot of room to run after the catch. The catch had to give him the first down.
Of course, Robert Griffin III missed his first game last week after injuring his right knee. He's wearing a brace on that knee today. It was suffered against the Baltimore Ravens. Fake it one way and put it in the hands of Garçon the other way, and he's up to the 25, and we'll check in for the first time today back in Los Angeles.
Well, you guys have done a good job of setting up the NFC East, so you know the scenario right now. New Orleans has scored first against the Cowboys. Mark Ingram, 9-yard touchdown run in their first possession. They lead it 7-0 in the early going. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Well, as we saw last week, Kurt, thank you, the opening possession has not been a problem for the New Orleans Saints. They're about the first possession best offense in the NFL. It's what happens thereafter.
Absolutely, and can that defense respond and hold up against the Dallas Cowboys, put it back in the hands of Drew Brees, and see if he can go down the field against that gutted Dallas Cowboy defense.
They call the pass play, gain of 8, and on the end around it's Santana Moss, and he'll get enough for a first down and then some. Moss up to the 39-yard line, and that'll move the chains for the Washington Redskins.
Excellent job on the outside. I want you to watch the reverse, and a great job on the outside. Nice job of the line pulling here, but watch Hankerson blocking. So often you can see a wide receiver. Typically, that's where you're going to end up getting called for a holding penalty. Nice job of taking on the corner, yet not getting the penalty called.
Redskins had a pair of injuries along their offensive line last week. Not only Columbus, but a knee injury to the center, Will Montgomery, down the middle of the field. And a perfect throw and a catch in traffic by Garcon. He's missed so much of that season after the toe injury in the season opener against New Orleans, but coming on strong.
You're going to watch him get in behind the linebackers who were held a little bit with the play fake. Tell you what, man, that is a hard ball to throw coming out blind the way RG3 did. That is a beautiful pass into traffic.
See the numbers of 34 receptions for Garcon, 27 of those, and 3 touchdowns have come in the last 4 weeks. And gingerly running to the sideline, wisely so, but certainly not an explosive Robert Griffin III on that carry.
Well, you're going to see here against the Baltimore Ravens, this one was ugly. Again, trying to get outside, but then cut back inside. Always a dangerous thing to do against a team as physical as the Ravens. We saw in the last play, if he's going to run, he's going to get to the outside. When you get outside the numbers, you get out of bounds. Again, a little ginger on that knee. Mike Shanahan's going to take note of that.
It was a gain of 5 and 2nd down and 5. Morris to the outside, back to the inside. And is spun down at the 35. He'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. Michael Kendricks, the rookie out of Cal. This Philadelphia defense, it has been a disaster most of the year. They've changed defensive coordinators, of course. No longer here is Juan Castillo.
Well, Cox and Graham are a couple of those young players we talked about. This group accounted for 6 sacks last week against Cincinnati. As always, Nnamdi Asomugha is going to be important in coverage, and Colt Anderson is getting the start at safety.
Yeah, Anderson started the last 2 weeks for the injured Kurt Coleman, who's back today, but this week Anderson starts in place of Nate Allen. High throw on a 3rd down and 2. Does Mike Shanahan think about going on 4th down with the ball at the 35-yard line? It appears as though he has already decided we are going like the Eagles went twice on their first drive.
And that's in no small part going forward on 4th down as a response to what he saw Philadelphia. Now, he's in a different circumstance. He's not in front of a 4-10 football team that's got nothing to lose. This is a calculated risk on Mike Shanahan's part. If this doesn't work, it's going to leave his team vulnerable.
Well, they have been very good on 4th downs. 12 out of 16. Throw incomplete. And the Redskins turn it over on downs.
Today's game is sponsored by Cadillac, the standard of the world. By Zero Dark 30 in theaters January. And by Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The next big thing is here.
On a 4th and 2, Brandon Graham does a heck of a job on the backside. You're going to see him off this edge. Last week against the Cleveland Browns, Kirk Cousins killed the Browns with these rolls outside the body of the defense. As a defensive end, you're as wide as the widest, as deep as the deepest. Did a nice job of forcing the issue on RG3.
You know, before we get away, after this first down play, I do want to ask you about a 3rd down and less than 2 yards, and you've got a wide receiver in the backfield there for Mike Shanahan. First down catch, and that's up to the 41-yard line. Reception made by Macklin, who had the touchdown. Of course, Michael Vick began this season as a starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, started the first 9 games, suffered a pair of concussions during the season, the second coming in mid-November against Dallas, and has not returned since. And will he play in an Eagles uniform looking ahead to 2013? So many questions surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. That is good enough for a first down to LaShawn McCoy. Twice they went for it on 4th down to the Eagles. Foles finding Selleck on a 4th down and less than 2, and 4th and less than a foot. Foles scrambled and capped off the 11-play drive with a 27-yard strike to Jeremy Macklin.
And I believe that forced the hand of Mike Shanahan for going on it on 4th down on his own.
Too high on the first down throw with an eye on Macklin. We check in, as we will frequently today, with our friend Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
All right, the Vikings trying to hold on to that 6th seed in the NFC at Houston. Christian Ponder hooking up with Kyle Rudolph. First touchdown of the game. 7-3 Vikings with the lead right now. Thom and Brian, for the record, 4 carries, 20 yards thus far for Adrian Peterson.
Well, what a huge game that is for the Minnesota Vikings. Another team, much like these Redskins, very few gave either one a chance to reach the playoffs, and both are right there on the doorstep. How about the moves from McCoy? That's what we've seen over the last 4 seasons since he came out of Pittsburgh in the 2nd round in 2009.
And this is what LaShawn McCoy does. Watch on the outside. You're going to see right here, he's going to come, Jackson's going to come crashing down. He's in great position. Madieu Williams also in a great position. And LaShawn McCoy, that sideward cut, that jump cut, and then the acceleration that he has. This is something that Bryce Brown, although he can cause people to miss as well, but this is right into LaShawn McCoy's wheelhouse, making those kind of plays.
They pitch it to Brown, and he's inside the Redskin 40 to the 39-yard line, and that converts on a 3rd down and 3, first down Eagles.
Now you look in here, this is what we're talking about with Bryce Brown. That ball should be in the outside hand, and again, look how he's carrying it away from his body. Hey, as long as he doesn't fumble, that's fine. But if I'm Andy Reid, I'm holding my breath every time this guy gets a hold of the ball.
Well, much has been made of the fact that Brown is so young. He's 21 years old, this in his first year, and officially listed as playing collegiately at Kansas State. They fake it to him and Foles the other way. What a catch by Selleck. And that is a first down for Brent Selleck down to the 23-yard line.
That is an excellent job of Nick Foles throwing the ball exactly where he had to get the reception. It was going to require a great catch, but if he'd have thrown that out a little in front of Selleck for a better pass, it might have been intercepted. So that's one of those as he gets outside, and if this thing is dropped, it's, well, where's Foles throwing? That's a terrible pass. He threw it where he had to get it completed.
Minute 22 here in the opening quarter. And this is McCoy back on the field, and he's tripped up after a gain of almost 3. You know, when you get hurt and when the season is not going well, people tend to forget about LaShawn McCoy. I mean, he went to his first Pro Bowl last year, led the NFL with 20 touchdowns, had the 4th most rushing yard in the NFL, and had the 5th most yards from scrimmage, and now they're talking about him sharing time looking ahead to next year.
What was the #1 criticism when we did their game almost a month ago? You're not getting the ball in the hands of LaShawn McCoy enough. Now it's, well, we got 2 guys we want to hand off to.
And sacked for the first time today as Foles all the way back at the 33 by Perry Riley.
We talked about pressure coming from the outside with Jackson, obviously, and Ryan Kerrigan, and now right down the middle on the inside. Anytime you can have outside pressure, like we talk about with Jackson and Kerrigan, the key is, can I get pressure up the middle? Because that's really where the quarterback, that's the only place he can escape. We're going to see a lot more inside pressure by the Washington Redskins on Nick Foles.
Third down and 15. And they were looking for the screen. And now Foles in trouble, and he will be sacked, and the ball is loose. And the Redskins have it. The Washington Redskins, they have been a turnover machine on defense. It looked like Kerrigan stripped it away.
And Kerrigan stays with it. Look how he finishes it out. Foles fumbles again. Remember, against Cincinnati, it was turnovers that spurred the comeback by Washington.
The strip by Kerrigan, and Richard Crawford picked it up. And fumbling is not news to the Philadelphia Eagles. A 22nd lost fumble this season. And look at all of the giveaways, 34 of them. Griffin to a wide open Alfred Morris out of the backfield. And he's into Eagles territory to the 43. Let's go back to the turnover.
And the key to the turnovers, Tom, let's go back to last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Eagles were firmly in charge until the series of fumbles, interceptions, a blocked punt, and all of a sudden the thing cascaded out of control, and it was a runaway win by the Washington Redskins. That's what they're hoping for here. Does this spur them and change that emotional dynamic of the game?
Well, they turned the ball over to the Eagles in that Bengals game on 3 successive third-quarter snaps. Garcon didn't fool anybody.
The key is, as a coach, and you saw it last week with that game in Cincinnati, quite frankly, there wasn't a lot of energy, Tom. It was against a different division, an out-of-division foe. The crowd really wasn't into it. This is the Washington Redskins. This crowd is obviously present here. They're a little subdued right now, but there's got to be a different energy in this building right now than there was Thursday night against the Bengals.
4 and 10 is a recipe for subdued. Take it one way, and in the end around, leapfrogging a defender is Morgan, still on his feet and all the way down to the 32-yard line.
Josh Morgan saved the bacon on that one, because now you can see Trent Cole, just like we saw Brandon Graham. They're not going to let this Redskin offense get outside the perimeter of the defense. They're very conscious of the reverses, the rolls by the boots and waggles of the quarterback, which is nothing more than an action of the quarterback outside of the protection of the offensive line. Josh Morgan saved him there. That had loss written all over it.
A third down and a long 2. Evan Royster into the game for the first time, and he has a first down to the 27-yard line. Royster, a rushing touchdown in the win at Cleveland last week.
The right tackle here, Hurt, playing for Columbus, does a nice job creating the edge. The Eagles are in position to make plays. They're just not getting the ball carrier on the ground. Very poor open field tackling by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, the last 8 games, this Philadelphia defense has given up 250 points. And, of course, rushing yards, a forte of this Redskins team, the best rushing team in the NFL. Morris cuts it back to the inside, and coming down the line is Cedric Thornton to bring him to the turf.
You know, I thought coming out that Kyle Shanahan might lean back on a game plan that was more reminiscent of the Cleveland game, where they didn't have RG3. Therefore, they were going to run much more of the conventional offense, the conventional zone scheme that Shanahan's are known for. And obviously, Kirk Cousins is a different quarterback than RG3. Well, let RG3 run that game plan. Let's run it within the tackles and let me throw from there. I don't know that they want to put RG3 outside of the edge, running the ball too much today.
Throws from the pocket. Able to escape one would-be tackler. Throws on the run, incomplete. Good coverage downfield. Hey, Colt Anderson has been all over the field so far here today.
And Pierre Garcon kind of quit on that once he saw RG3 get outside the pocket. If he had continued on, RG3 was waiting for him, thought he could loft it in there, and at that time Garcon is kind of backed up just a little bit. Look, he's hesitating. Where are you going? Get to the outside. Give him an option to go to the ball. Colt Anderson pulled the trigger. Pierre Garcon did not.
Third down and 10. That is an incomplete pass. That was a forward pass, and Brandon Graham read that thing right from the start. What a great story Graham is.
This is brilliant. He sees what it is, little shuffle pass. You know why he plays that so well? He's seen that 1,000 times in practice against the Philadelphia Eagles, one of their favorite plays offensively by the Eagles. He's seen that 1,000 times. Brilliant by Brandon Graham.
This will be a 45-yard field goal try for the rookie Kai Forbath. He has not missed since the Redskins signed him. 15 of 15. And that one right through the middle. So the Redskins get 3 off the Philadelphia turnover. Three teams, each at 8-6 atop the NFC East. The bottom line is the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys both controlled their divisional championship destiny. Because the two meet next weekend, if the Redskins win today and next week over Dallas, they're division champs. Dallas wins today over New Orleans, beats Washington next week, they're division champs. The Giants, to win the division, would need some help. Bryce Brown out across the 20 and up close to the 25. A late flag comes in. And back around the 15-yard line.
During the return,
And of course,
holding by the receiving team, number 50. 10-yard penalty. Eagles ball, first down.
that's on Casey Matthews. We will keep you up to date all day on what's going on with New Orleans and Dallas.
Today's game is sponsored by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Warner Brothers Pictures' Gangster Squad. In theaters everywhere January 11th. And by Microsoft Surface.
Ah, yes, the great Rocky Balboa. I don't think he was 8 feet 6 inches tall.
Yo, Adrian Peterson.
That was commissioned before the release of Rocky 3. Yeah, Adrian Peterson, hey, how about those Minnesota Vikings leading 7-3 in Houston?
Yeah, I don't know that a lot of people gave Minnesota a lot of chance of beating Houston. They're up right now 7-3. If they can hold on to that, that would be huge for that competition in the NFC North.
The Eagles start this drive just beyond their own 15, and McCoy maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And let's check in once more back in Los Angeles.
Well, because they play each other in the Week 17 game, like the Redskins, the Cowboys can win the NFC East if they win out. They've come back to tie the Saints. 58-yard touchdown. Des Bryant, broken finger and all, gets in the end zone. 7-7 right now in the second quarter. Thom and Brian.
Well, things might be swinging the Cowboys' favor. Des Bryant catches a touchdown in the first half of a game. Something is getting turned around. That has been rare indeed. Foles rolling, nobody open. Just throws it down the field, and looking for a flag was Macklin. No flag is thrown.
Yeah, I'm not sure Macklin shouldn't have been called on that one. He just kind of, you're running here, and this is like that three-legged sack race that you see all the time. Someone goes down, he's complaining for a call, but I'm not sure he shouldn't have been called for shoving down the defender.
Deshaun Gomes.
Yeah, Deshaun Gomes. That was, maybe he thought the official wasn't looking.
Third down and 11. That was sniffed out by Richard Crawford immediately. Boy, that's a good defensive play on our side of the field, Brian Billick, by Richard Crawford, the rookie who's getting more and more playing time.
Let's look at what Washington's doing. They got everybody up on the line of scrimmage. That means zero coverage. What is zero coverage? No free safety in the middle of the field. That means all-out pressure, and watch what happens. Now they back out of it after Foles checks. This is the chess match that's going to go on between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins. They're one of the few teams, the Redskins are, that are willing to show that kind of look.
Matt McBriar standing at his own goal line. And Crawford has it bounce. Very short punt, then checks up. Great field position for the Redskins. 9:39 to go in the second quarter. Philly in front, 7-3.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new Ford Fusion. Go further.
7-3, Philadelphia in front. This is the final home game for the Eagles. A venue where they used to dominate the opposition. Through most of Andy Reid's career as head coach, they have not won this year since week 4 when they beat the New York Giants here. Griffin looking down the field, wide open. The crossing pattern is Garcon, and he's all the way inside the 30-yard line, steps out of bounds at the 26. What a weapon he has become since getting through that injured toe.
And they throw so many things at you. You're going to see here Hankerson out to the flat. That's what pulled coverage up underneath Pierre Garçon. You're thinking, how did he get open? How did they not drop underneath that? Well, they saw Hankerson on this mini reverse hanging out there that had they dropped deep to take away Garçon, RG3 would have simply flipped it out to Hankerson.
Morris for maybe a yard. Well, right around the corner of the new year, January the 4th, one of the best bowl games of the year. Heisman Trophy winner. What do you call him, Coach?
Johnny Football.
Johnny Manziel. 9th-ranked Texas A&M. That's an old Southwest Conference battle against 11th-ranked Oklahoma.
Championship right there. A&M and OU.
AT&T Cotton Bowl, January the 4th, only on Fox.
They realign now more than Eastern European countries. I don't know what country's
right.
what and what's in who's in conference.
Well, you're not lying. Very short game. Once more by Morris. You know, we talk about Graham. The Eagles in 2010 jumped up 11 spots to get him. He was drafted 2 spots ahead of Jason Pierre-Paul, but then had the gruesome knee injury. His rookie year, was never healthy till this year. When he got a chance to play, played well. They released Jason Babin, and he has been their best defensive lineman and pass rusher the last 4 weeks. They're looking to him now on a 3rd down and 8. Griffin just throws it away. And leading the charge, chasing after him initially was Graham. Cox hit him near the end of the throw. And so once more, it'll be a field goal try for the Redskins.
And clearly RG3 here, and that hit was inbounds. But I don't know whether it's the brace that's got him restricted, but clearly he's not moving as fluid as we are used to seeing RG3 when he gets out around the corner.
Well, if Kai Forbath makes this one, he will break the all-time NFL record for consecutive field goals made to start a career, and he has just set that record. Once held by Garrett Hartley. Now it belongs to Kai Forbath. What a pickup he's turned out to be.
Kyle Shanahan talking with his quarterbacks, RG3, Kirk Cousins, trying to explain what it is they need to do against this defensive front of the Philadelphia Eagles, who's doing a nice job of containing the Redskin offense around the edges. The rollouts and outside plays that victimized Cleveland Browns last week have not yet showed up that much against the Philadelphia Eagles.
So a 1-point game, and Brown on the kickoff is thrown to the deck. And so the Eagles back on offense.
Hi, my name is Lieutenant Ryan McCool with Mount 16 Camp Bastion, Afghanistan. Just want to say happy holidays to my friends and family back in the Philadelphia area. I miss you guys. I'll be home soon. Ever.
Love to welcome all the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching our broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFM, the American Forces Network. God bless all of you. Away from your family, your friends during this holiday season, standing tall, strong, and proud for the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And certainly a flag still flying at half-mast after the terrible tragedy in Connecticut. This is the first Eagles home game since that happened, and my thoughts and prayers for many of those able to watch the game in that area here today. On first down, Foles is sacked back at the 18-yard line, and once more it's Ryan Kerrigan right there to greet him.
And Foles had no place to go after the play fake. The pocket just collapsed around him as he was trying to come out of the fake. And you can see here, he got a little bit of a play fake. Now he's trying to get the ball up to make the read. He has to pull it back down, and the whole thing just collapses. The secondary's job is to make the quarterback hold the ball so the defensive line can get home. The defensive line wants to rush the quarterback and get the throw before he's ready.
McCoy looking for any running room and none there. So it'll bring up third down, and we'll call it 12 at the 20. Kerrigan came in with 6.5 sacks already, 2 of them today. In just his second year out of Purdue, he has not missed a single down since entering the league last year. Not a down.
You can imagine the presence of Kerrigan, and if Brian Arakpo, I mean, Rob Jackson's playing very well, but Brian Arakpo is a Pro Bowl player. That's that coveted outside pressure on both sides. What a difference that would make for Washington.
Kerrigan pushed aside, and it's tipped into the hands of London Fletcher. A second Philadelphia turnover, and the Redskins in business.
Nick Foles did a nice job stepping up into the pocket, but then right at the last minute, it gets deflected by a defensive lineman. The thing goes darn near end over end. London Fletcher wasn't sure whether to catch it or call a fair catch. Looked like a punt coming down to him.
Well, London Fletcher trails only Ray Lewis in career interceptions among all NFL active linebackers. And Garcon for a short gain down to the 22-yard line.
Well, when your name comes in conjunction with anything to do with Ray Lewis, that's usually a pretty good thing.
Meanwhile, in Dallas, the Cowboys have gone in front for the first time today. 14-7 over the Saints. By the way, that was Barry Cofield who tipped that pass a moment ago. It's the second time he has tipped a pass from Foles. And they pitch it to Morris. Cuts it back to the inside. Look at that power football from Morris. And that's a first down, and we're very close to it. Looks like he's short on the spot. And we will check in again and back in Los Angeles.
You showed the score. Here's how it happened. Cowboys take the lead. Des Bryant again. 58 yards again. But talk about the run after the catch. 5 catches, 145 yards, and 2 scores for Bryant. And they're still in the second quarter. Cowboys up 14-7. Thom and Bryant.
And that's all with an injured finger that they thought he was going to be gone for the rest of the year. That's very impressive by Des Bryant.
Well, they give it to Morris, and he has enough for the first down on a 3rd and less than 2. It's down to the 14 and inside the 14.
The thing you like about Alfred Morris as a play caller is he constantly puts you in a good down and distance. Not a lot of lost yardage on this guy. He's physical. Now, he can make people miss. He's caused people to miss open field 47 times, which is 4th in the league right now. So he's got a little wiggle to him, but he's always getting positive yards. You're very rarely in that 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12, 3rd and 12 because of the way this guy carries the ball.
Morris takes a pitch. Inside, breaks it back to the outside, and is stopped at the 10-yard line. Morris played for former Redskins draft pick Howard Schnellenberger at Florida Atlantic, and they got him in the 6th round. How ironic. They got him in a pick acquired in the trade of Donovan McNabb.
And I want you to watch the way he's carrying the ball, so secure compared to Bryce Brown that we talked about earlier. He's got that high and tight, the 4 points of pressure and all that good stuff that says I'm going to secure the ball because I know there's a whole lot of folks trying to take it away from me.
Swing it to the outside, and still on his feet and tiptoeing into the end zone is Joshua Morgan. And the Redskins lead for the first time today.
We talked about the difficulty of getting outside on the edges on this Philadelphia defense. They're doing a nice job of hemming in RG3. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to throw it to the outside, almost like a pitch play to Josh Morgan. Nice job blocking on the outside by Pierre Garcon. Like we said, that's hard to do and not get called for holding. Excellent execution by the receiving corps of the Washington Redskins.
Well, they're making sure, taking a look at it as they do every scoring play in the NFL.
Clearly the knee is down. The question is, did the ball break the plane? Does not look. His left hand is across the plane, obviously, but the ball has to cross the plane. Let's remember that the play on the field was ruled a touchdown. I'm likely to hear this stands. I'm not sure there's enough evidence to overturn it.
Ruling on the field stands as called. It's not possible to tell where the football was in relationship to the plane when the knee was down.
Ed Huckilly, our referee today.
Again, the verbiage being key there. He says it stands. Had he seen it break the plane, he'd have said it was confirmed. And clearly, in his view, there wasn't enough of a view to overturn it.
So following the interception on the tip ball by Cofield into the arms of London Fletcher. 5 plays, 25 yards, the 11-yard touchdown reception by Morgan, and now the point after from Forbath to make it 13-7. Washington Redskins. All set up by the interception. (13-7) Redskins. 3:30 to play here until halftime, and you can't stress enough the importance of this game for the Redskins. A lot of people out there saying, well, no kid. It's been a while now. I mean, the Redskins have not won a playoff game since the 2005 season. They've not been division champs since 1999. They win here in Philadelphia, beat their rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, in the nation's capital next week. They will rewrite that book.
How about that combination of players we just saw? RG3 and Fletcher, London Fletcher. I'm not sure RG3 and London Fletcher, 15 years in this league, isn't old enough to be RG3's father. You know, that shows you the contrast on this team of young and old. Well, tomorrow Fox kicks off a holiday comedy marathon with a week of TV's best. Monday is a night of raising hope. Tuesday is nothing but New Girl. Wednesday is all Ben and Kate. And Thursday wraps up with the Mindy Project. It all starts tomorrow on Fox. My week's set. I'm good to go.
Well, I got to tell you, you are dialed in handling the promos on Fox. There you see the very good start, 11 plays, 76 yards and a touchdown. A steady decline ever since. First down incomplete with an eye on Macklin. Good coverage by Josh Wilson, and he's injured over on the Redskins sideline. They've had all kinds of injuries to this Redskin defense. You go back early, Carricker, Arakpo, Brandon Merriweather. Recently Cedric Griffin, and this would be a big hit.
I thought he was going to get a pick six there for a minute, but obviously reaching that arm or that elbow out got it in a tough position. You're right. To lose him would be a big loss to this secondary that has just now kind of gotten back into a groove.
DJ Johnson replaces him, and immediately a reception made up to the 35-yard line by Jason Avant. He has become the favorite target of Nick Foles here over the last 3 weeks, nearly a month since Jackson went down for the year.
Make no mistake, they've got a lot of targets, even with the loss of Deshaun Jackson. You already talked about Avant. Riley Cooper adds a big receiver that's come in to the likes of them. Demarcus Johnson has also been a factor for them. They've got a lot of talent across the board.
Swing it out of the backfield into the hands of McCoy, one of the very best coming out of the backfield to catch the football. And that is a first down to the Redskins' 49-yard line, 2:40 to go.
There's a lot of ways to be accurate as a quarterback, and on a short throw like this, you don't think about that, but that's exactly where the ball needs to be placed. Bill Walsh was absolutely manic about putting the ball out in that lead glove. Make the back go downhill to get it. That's what gives him his momentum. Don't make him catch it back shoulder. Don't slow him down. That was a perfect throw by Nick Foles.
The throw it on first down. Sitting down is Johnson, still on his feet. And the rookie has a first down to the Redskins' 37-yard line, Demarcus Johnson. his 16th catch of the year.
We just talked about the different targets that the Philadelphia Eagles can go to. Jeremy Maclin, obviously, with all that he's done. We've talked about Avant being the favorite target. So you got to imagine that Demarcus Johnson is someone that might not get the attention of the other receivers and therefore could be more of a go-to guy.
We've reached a 2-minute warning in Philadelphia.
Andy Reid on the right, Marty Morningwig on the left, the offensive coordinator, trying to compare notes here to keep this drive going.
Understand that Josh Wilson has a strained left shoulder. His return is questionable. And the reception made by Maclin. He is spun down, but not before another first down to the 24-yard line. Eagles have all 3 timeouts remaining and 1:45 to play until the half.
Right now, Jim Haslett's trying to figure out, I don't know if he's gotten too passive this last series, whether he wants to dial up some more pressure, but right now, the rookie Nick Foles is just kind of ripping this Redskin defense apart.
Foles 10 out of 16, 137 yards, a touchdown, and the tipped pass that went for an interception. Avant is shoved out of bounds at the 19. That'll be a gain of 6. 1:22 left.
And you lose one of your corners like Josh Wilson, it can all of a sudden affect what your plan was going to be in the red zone. Sometimes that can force you into being a little bit more passive, and having Josh Wilson back will certainly help.
How about that? No longer questionable, his return.
Ball start. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
That's Evan Moore. They just activated. They have the season-ending injury to Clay Harbor, their tight end. And then Stanley Havili, a fullback who was able to play some tight end. He's unable to go with a hamstring injury, thus Moore on the field.
Yeah, he's only been here since Tuesday, but still, it's those kind of penalties along with the turnovers that can really suck the life out of a drive.
Maclin got a good block from Selleck, but then good closing speed. How about Barry Cofield coming all the way across the field from a nose tackle position to make that play? Timeout Philadelphia, and we are going to check in once more as you take a look at Cofield coming down the line. Look at a big fella get after it. And there to make the tackle. Let's check in quickly in L.A.
All right, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, a special holiday edition as both the Steelers and Bengals wrestle over the same Christmas gift, a playoff berth. A berth that the Indianapolis Colts can get if they just win a game. We'll tell you about it coming up on the Visa Halftime.
Well, Brian, you were involved in so many rugged battles in that AFC North. Cincinnati out to a 10-0 lead in Pittsburgh, trying to clinch a playoff spot with the Bengals for a second straight year.
And that's a matter of attitude. Cincinnati has not beaten Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh since Pluto was a pup. Okay, so you got to get past that mental barrier, and right now they are.
They're down in 5, and Foles will move the chains. That is a first down on a catch by Avant. Boy, so steady and dependable. The Eagles going to spend another timeout, which leaves the Eagles with 1.
Andy Reid talked about the growth of Nick Foles. As we talked about, we had them in his first start 5 weeks ago, and they couldn't get out of their own way in that game. They had 2 field goals basically, got blown out by the Redskins. And to now see him in a drive like this, he's climbed the pocket very effectively, found the underneath checkdowns. Yeah, you're going to look vertical, but checking the ball down underneath in a very accurate way is Nick Foles. And right now he's doing a nice job selling those credentials, as I talked about in the open, that, hey, I can be your guy in the future right here in Philadelphia.
And he has just broken the Eagles franchise rookie record for passing yards in a season, held by John Reeves all the way back in 1972. Foles in trouble. Running room. Flag comes down. And he is dropped at the 9, but we wait on the penalty.
Good news, bad news when you have this long in the pocket. You got lots of time to throw it. The bad news, as we see there.
Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's King Dunlap on the left side. That's a long time to figuratively and literally hold a guy out. He's looking up the board for the replay going, you can look at it either way, King. It's going to come back. You're always looking up there. He's going, yeah, did I or did I not? Well, if the flag's on the ground, then you did. And we've seen what in this drive? They get in the red zone, there's a penalty. Now there's a holding penalty. This is the type of thing that has killed the Philadelphia Eagles.
Fake it one way, and that did not field or full co-field. Able to catch it is McCoy, but he is tackled at the 21-yard line. Madu Williams coming up to make the spot. Boy, Cofield is all over the place for the Redskins on defense. 44 and ticking.
Now let's get it straight. Cofield just broke up a screen there with the quarterback. He's the same guy that broke up the screen on the outside. This guy's all over the place.
Second down and 18, and just throws it straight into the ground as Foles. 28 seconds left in a 3rd and 18.
Foles didn't have a lot of option there. He just grounded. He wanted to get the screen to LaShawn McCoy. It was not there. The Redskins were all over it, so he wisely threw the ball away rather than forcing it in. Coming out of University of Arizona, one of the things on Foles was they said he was a good decision maker, that he didn't panic, that he knew how to orchestrate an offense, and he's showing that all but as a young rookie right now.
Third down and 18. Under center. Feeling the pressure. Looking to the end zone. It is caught but out of bounds by Evan Moore.
The ball just a little bit late. Had it come up just a little bit sooner. Remember, there is no longer a force out in this league. Can't see that. It doesn't get the left foot in or the right foot for that matter. But there is no longer a force out. The DB can push you out of bounds and keep you from landing in bounds. If that ball had been up just a tad earlier, they might have had a touchdown.
Alex Henry's been mighty good this year. Hit on 25 out of 28. This from 38 yards. Good snap. Good hold. And it's good. Just snuck it inside the left upright. For a 13-10 game with 18 ticks remaining. Yes, Christmas around the corner. Pre-game show, gang. We'll be with you the Visa halftime. So many big games around the NFL. That's from the Fox lot, where they film so many great television shows and movies. And that's Brian Setzer, the old lead man of the band, the Stray Cats. Well, they had some great tunes.
See Jimmy dancing? I could confirm everything I've always said. Football coaches have no rhythm whatsoever. We just don't. And I give them credit for being up there dancing around.
Now, how do you know that Andy Reid and Mike Shanahan can't dance?
Look at that, Jimmy. I love it. You know, when you dance like nobody's watching, right? Isn't that what they say? Jimmy's doing it, man. I know that because
Kim just told me the other night.
Yeah, no,
we had a lovely night. Our distinguished director, Artie Kemner, and his wife, Marcy, had us out to their house on Friday.
Night.
And I thought your bride had told me that at one time, before you went through this bout with a very, very bad back, that you were an outstanding dancer.
You cannot trust men that like to dance. That's been my theory my entire life.
Wow. Miles Paul will take a knee, and one would assume the Redskins offensively will do the same thing, leading 13-10.
And by the way, for the second time in a row, I've got to shout out to you now. You're putting a lot of pressure on us because for the second time, both you did at my house and our director's party the other night, you did the dishes. You scrambled right up there and did the dishes.
I did.
And broke only 2 of them. That was very impressive.
Well, it beats 3.
That's right.
Right?
But we were impressed. That put a lot of pressure on us because now for the last month, and my wife's been saying, did you see what Thom did?
And like a lot of guys out there, you only wish your wife would say the same thing about you. All right. The Redskins need this one. And they lead at halftime, and we go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. It's time for the Visa halftime, which starts right now.
Welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. More fans go with Visa.
Welcome to the Visa Halftime. Kurt Menefee along with Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy, and playoff implications all over the place, including that guy, Adrian Peterson, the Vikings at Houston.
All right, let's go. Single back set, bootleg, open right, throw left. Hard to do. Nice job by Christian Ponder, recently married. Congratulations to he and his lovely bride, man. Still, there it is, 13-3 on the road. Vikings on top of the Houston Texans. Oh, Saints at the Cowboys. Breeze, come on out. Romo, come on out. Holiday time, second quarter. Romo out of the eye, play action, looked left, throw right, no safety. Great job by Des Bryant, good concentration. Kept it, went to the outside. After he caught it, 58-yard touchdown. We're tied at 7-all, looking left, looking left. There's the quick slant, got inside the corner. Beautiful job of breaking a tackle. Another 58-yard touchdown by Bryant, making it 14-7 Dallas. But, as you would expect, Saints coming back. Drew Brees looking right into the flat as he finds Lance Moore, 6-yard touchdown. Heck of a ball game, 14-all Cowboys and the Saints at the half. Redskins, Eagles. Robert Griffin III got that knee all bundled up there. Injured right knee, did not play against the Browns last week. And Nick Foles, another rookie quarterback. Beautiful job out of Arizona, hooking up with Jeremy Maclin, 27-yard touchdown. Eagles had to go for fourth down twice and made it both times. Then Robert Griffin III out of the backfield, a little wide flare to Josh Morgan. Great running by Morgan. And the score is now 13-10. Redskins up by a field goal on top of Philadelphia. Titans at the Packers. Aaron Rodgers looked left, set up, 5-step drop. Nobody underneath. Well, they are underneath, but they're too far back. He turns on that speed, 6-yard touchdown. Packers up 7-0. Rolling right, throwing, finding Randall Cobb. Nice job. Boy, that's a perfectly thrown ball. Hard to do on the run. 20-yard touchdown. All Packers 20-0. Over Tennessee, just 30 seconds remaining in the first half. Big game in the AFC North. Bengals, that's Ben Roethlisberger, great quarterback for the Steelers. Roethlisberger's looking down over him and did not see Leon Hall. Good job by Leon Hall after he made the interception, a 17-yard interception return. Touchdown, 7-0 Bengals, and then Roethlisberger back. Pump, guns it down the left side. Great job, wide open. Antonio Brown turns on the speed. 60-yard touchdown, 10-7 though. Bengals by a field goal over the Steelers. That's a halftime score. Patriots, Jaguars, Chad Henne, Justin Blackmon. Nice job. Got inside, 3-yard touchdown pass, 7-0. And then back comes Brady out of the backfield. He finds Danny Woodhead, a 14-yard touchdown. We're tied up at 13-all. Surprisingly, 13-all Jaguars hosting the Patriots.
All right, the Colts trying to clinch a playoff berth. All they've got to do is beat Kansas City today. They're up by 10 approaching halftime. Tampa Bay trailing at home, about to lose their 5th straight. If this keeps up against St. Louis, the Panthers have the lead. The Jets have 2 touchdown runs by Sean Green to lead the Chargers, and the Dolphins 14-3 on top of Buffalo. All right, guys, let's focus in, Jimmy, on the Redskins and the Eagles.
Well, Philadelphia doing an excellent job against the running game of Washington. Alfred Morris only 18 yards on 9 carries. But the problem with Philadelphia is the turnovers. Been 34 turnovers going into today's game, worst in the league. They have 2 more turnovers again today. And you got to be impressed with Washington, the determination of Washington, having RG3 out there. You know, they go behind 7-0, and they fight back to take the lead.
And the reason they're in the game is because of their defense. Offensively, they haven't been able to get much going. And the Eagles have just turned it over and have put their defense in a horrible situation as far as where the field position.
And that's lost in all the hoopla over the Morris and RG3 and the great year those 2 rookies have had, accounting for over 2,000 yards rushing, is the job Jim Haslett's done on that defense down the stretch here. If it goes into the playoffs for the Redskins, that'll be a big key.
Particularly with the early injuries they had on defense, to be able to hold that thing together and keep them in control in the NFC East. Of course, next week we'll take on the Dallas Cowboys, who right now are in a dogfight thanks to Des Bryant's 2 touchdowns for the New Orleans Saints. He earns our Visa play of the half.
Our score at halftime in Philadelphia, the Redskins 13, the Eagles 10. And we're back for the start of the second half in just a moment. we invite you to follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. 13-10, Redskins in front. And, Brian, we brought it up earlier, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, here in the second half. But Andy Reid wouldn't want us to make a big deal about it. He said as much in our conversation with him yesterday. But as he walks along the sideline coming out at halftime, there has to be somewhere inside of his mind the emotions that the possibility does exist. Some believe it's a very real possibility that he will no longer patrol the sidelines here in Philadelphia as head coach of the Eagles after today.
Well, that is true, but not right now. You compartmentalize those things right now. As he told us, he is all about beating the Washington Redskins. And next week it'll be all about beating the New York Giants. Because as he said, there's no upside. There's no profit in thinking about those things. If it happens, it happens right now. He has the obligation to himself, to his coaches and his team to stay focused on the task at hand. And right now, that's the second half of this game with the Washington Redskins.
Very short kickoff, and Niles Paul takes it up across the 25 and is dropped to the 28-yard line. And we check in downstairs with Laura.
Well, as always has been his policy, I did not talk to Andy Reid. He does not speak when the Eagles are trailing at halftime. I did talk to Mike Shanahan, who has been talking constantly with Robert Griffin III during the game about that knee. He said it's been holding up great. He's doing what we thought he could do. He said everything's been fine there. He said, I like what we see. Offensively, I'd like to get them to run the ball a little bit more. He said we're averaging about 3.5 yards per carry. We want to get that better. Defensively, happy with the turnovers, and said we just want to be able to keep them out of the end zone. Tom.
Well, we have an injured Washington Redskin down in the field. That is Dijon Gomes, who's been getting a lot of playing time in this game in the secondary. Keep an eye out for number 24 right there going down. And Paul falls on top of his left knee. We're back in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Dr. Pepper 10 bold calories, 23 flavors. By Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. And by Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Well, don't you find yourself wondering, you look at Independence Hall, the Declaration of Independence adopted, the Constitution drafted and signed, and we're back here as Dijon Gomes was able to get up and walk off of the field. Laura will try and update us on his condition. And on first down, wide open, and what a catch. On really not a well-thrown ball by Robert Griffin III, but Garcon going up to get it.
Well, he had to put it up early. This is a great move by Garcon. Watch this. He's going to nod to the post and then go back outside. Great job on terms of got the catch, get the feet in. I think RG3 put the ball up just a little bit earlier than he wanted to. Therefore, the accuracy was off a little bit, but what a great catch by Garcon.
Garcon, a couple of 100-yard receiving games, including his first as a Redskin when he got hurt in a season opener against New Orleans. Big running room for Morris, and that'll be a gain of close to 9 for Alfred Morris, who had a very quiet opening half. He's rushed for a franchise rookie record 1,300 plus yards this year.
They guessed from the wrong side. You see they're bringing pressure off that side. They've got just the right call on going out to the weak side. Excellent job by Morris getting away from the pressure. That's just a matter of guessing right on the part of Mike and Kyle Shanahan and the Washington Redskins.
10 carries, only 27 rushing yards for Morris. He'll get a couple of more here, and that's good enough for a first down.
Yeah, and the rushing yards right here, as you alluded to, that was the thing that you're looking at. Obviously, the turnovers trump everything, but the rushing yards by the Washington Redskins right now, the Philadelphia Eagles have to feel pretty good about the way they've hemmed in this leading rushing attack in the National Football League.
We understand Nick Foles gripping that football, feeling some kind of pain in his throwing right hand, and a timeout is called by the Redskins.
Where they started off, nice throw by Foles to Jeremy Maclin. Then the interception by London Fletcher that set up the score for the Washington Redskins, and just a little outside pitch by Josh Morgan, almost like a toss play, just crossing the goal line.
But then Foles able to get him down the field, and near the end of the first half, the Eagles kick a field goal to come within 3. Pretty good first half outside of that tip ball on the pass thrown by Foles. Not bad numbers. Fake it to Morris. Lay it off to the tight end, Paul. And he has another Washington first down to the 10-yard line.
And this is always lethal on a boot or a rollout, particularly with a guy like RG3. They bring guys from all over the field on those underneath routes, and it's just kind of chump change. You're going to see him come all the way right in behind the offensive line. It's real hard to keep up with the receiver that kind of skirts in behind the offensive line. He gets caught in all the trash in terms of the defense trying to find him. That's a nice gain for a simple throw.
Morris to the end zone. And Alfred Morris, his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. Already the rookie record holder in Redskins franchise history. And now a point after away from their largest lead of the afternoon.
And this is where we've got to watch, Tom. You talked about just a nice job of Trent Williams coming around and leading up in the end zone for Morris, but the emotional response, you said they did a nice job going down the end of the half, as did Philadelphia did, to stay close to the game. That was not much of an emotional response there. That defense was lackluster in this opening series against the Washington Redskins.
Not only the rushing touchdowns, but now with 10, that ties Charlie Taylor's Redskin rookie record for touchdowns in a season. Alfred Morris hits one long ball in Philadelphia.
Well orchestrated drive. Again, I'm worried about the emotional tenor of the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see how they come out offensively, but not much emotion defensively by the Eagles in that opening drive.
Well, we were wondering about Nick Foles. Is he hurt, Laura Okmin?
He is, but he is actually coming back out in the field. He is good to go, but at halftime he was undergoing x-rays on that hand. The official word from the Eagles is a right hand contusion, but he is back in and good to go.
And
right,
he
great
is already,
stuff, Laura. Thank you.
He's already fumbled once in this game, so that's something we've got to watch, the ability to grip the ball, particularly under duress.
Well, we'll get a first look. His first pass looked one way, and it'll lost it for Macklin, who makes a diving grab at the Redskin 45. He gets up and picks up a couple of more yards before he's shoved out of bounds. What a catch by Macklin.
And that had all the earmarks of a broken down play. Macklin gets in behind D'Angelo Hall. And it's interesting, it looked like Hall waited for him to get up, kind of inviting him, so now I'm going to try to strip the ball out. Watch what Hall does here. He gets caught up in the trash as Foles steps up, and rather than just touch him down, he waits it out, kind of like stand up. At least I'm going to tackle you, but I want a chance to strip the ball first.
38-yard gain on a pass play. Foles to Macklin. Foles to throw it again. Riley Cooper, his first catch of the day. Sidesteps a tackle, and he's inside the 25-yard line.
Well, we said the Philadelphia defense did not emotionally respond coming out at half, but the offense sure has. This looks very much like the drive at the end of the half by Philadelphia. You're going to see Riley Cooper just underneath, running away from Richard Crawford. Nice response by the Philadelphia offense. Maybe this will get the defense cranked up.
First down, Foles to throw it again. And once more finds Macklin, who just sits down at the 20. That'll be a gain of 4. So second down and 6 coming up. Macklin has made more catches in his first almost 4 years than any other Philadelphia Eagle in franchise history. He's had a pair of 100-yard receiving games this year, most recently in their win over Tampa Bay. Caught that touchdown pass, the final play of the game.
And it was the final play. I mean, literally the last second. And you'd have thought they had just won the Super Bowl the way they responded to that, which is good. You're out there to play. You're out there to win.
First carry of this half for McCoy. And this is his first game back in a month. And he is very close to a first down. It looks like he is right on the mark at the 14-yard line. First down.
LaShawn McCoy is one of the most patient backs you're ever going to see. Nice job by this offensive line. Dennis Kelly on the right side, the rookie, and he just waits and waits for that seam, and right now he sees it. Now it opens up. Now I'm going to accelerate. Now that I see the way this thing is flowing, does a nice job. He's got great balance. Really, because of the injury, obviously not having the year that he had hoped, but this is really one of the best backs in the National Football League.
Short drop, and Foles in trouble, and able to get close. Well, maybe a yard beyond the line of scrimmage. And once more, there's Ryan Kerrigan. Already with 2 sacks in the game today.
This is typically where Philadelphia will begin to come with the little shuffle pass, the little inside screens to LaShawn McCoy. Marty Morningwig obviously has a lot of athletes he can go to. They don't really have that big presence outside down in here where you're going to go for the jump balls or try to orchestrate a tight end down the middle of the field necessarily. So this is where McCoy usually has a big role.
Of course, they've gone to Cooper more and more in that role here since he's getting more and more playing time. And sacked before he even set his feet. Williams from the free safety spot drops Foles back at the 22.
Well, Jim Haslett finally probably said, you know what, you can see it all right in here. You're going to see Williams. What'd they do the last time they did this? They dropped everybody out. So that's why the tight end made the bet. I'm going to go outside to Ryan Kerrigan, thinking that Madua Williams was not going to come. And he did, and gets an untouched sack on the quarterback.
The third down and forever. 3rd and 16. They need to get inside the 4-yard line. Fake it one way. There was Kerrigan. Selleck tackled well short of the first down at the 11-yard line. And out comes the field goal unit led by Alex Henry. So a very good answer, if you will. No, not a touchdown, but a good drive by Philadelphia and a chance to put points on the board.
Well, Tom, we've been doing this a while, and you know I always talk about the emotional response of a team. We saw the defense not respond very well. I'm talking about the Eagles defense. The offense comes out, has a nice drive, showed a lot of enthusiasm there. We've got to see now if that defense can match that enthusiasm to keep them in the game.
30-yard field goal try is good by Henry. So the lead down to 7. Well, Nick Foles and the Eagles able to come away with a field goal on their opening possession of a second half. Good to see Deshaun Gomes, because that had a chance to be very ugly when Niles Paul, his own player, fell on top of his knee. Once more, we invite you to call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile for only $5 all month. So now the Redskins come back out, leading 20-13. The day started with 3 teams in the NFC East with 8-6 records. But only the Redskins and the Cowboys truly control their own destiny in terms of a divisional title. The Redskins win their last 2, they are NFC East champions. If the Cowboys win their final 2, they are the divisional champions. Boykin comes in. Is that a fumbled ball or is it an incomplete pass?
That's what Hockley's trying to figure out right now.
That is a fumble.
He threw the ball. He thought he could get it out quick enough. This is a free rusher off the edge. Where was it thrown and where does it caught? It looks like it did go laterally. The receiver standing at the 10-yard line. RG3, he gets the ball out. It is a pass, but is it a backwards pass because of where it landed? He's standing right on the 5-yard line. Go ahead and let it run. Let's see where it lands. Yeah, absolutely. That was a backward pass and therefore a fumble.
And alertly, Santana Moss picked the football up. That's a guy that's been around a while.
Washington is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a backward pass.
Okay, he's ready to
Ed Huckley, our referee, set to give us the verdict after the challenge by Mike Shanahan.
The issue on a play like that is the point that the ball leaves the quarterback's hand, and at what spot does it hit the field? It left the quarterback's hand at the 9-yard line. It hit the field at the 8.5. The ruling in the field is therefore confirmed. Washington is charged with their second timeout.
Well, Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. Mike, is that the way you saw it? Same way?
You know, it's an interesting play because I got to tell you, the rule states that if the hand is starting forward, but the ball, then contact causes the ball to be released to go backwards, it's still a forward pass. So I thought Ed might have looked at that, but he ended up staying with the call, which is probably the right call.
Well, we thank Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. That's up to the 8-yard line. So bring up third down for the Redskins. Eagles down 7. Closing in on 7 minutes to go. Meanwhile, in Dallas, Cowboys are tied at 17 with New Orleans. The Giants later today on Fox. That'll be Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Pam Oliver and company on the back end of our Fox doubleheader. That did not fool Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. But the Redskins got a little bit of yardage back to give their punter Rocca some room.
A little bit of anticipation of a draw or a quick screen here. Nice job. Again, it's a long way to go on a third down. They wanted to be as safe as they could. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, they're going to let this guy dive right into it. He's trying to get a strip right there. You can see he's trying to get the ball out. Getting a little greedy there. That's just what you want out of a DB. Get a turnover deep in Redskin territory.
Missed tackle. Johnson still on his feet. And he is tackled at the 44. Excellent field position for the Eagles, trailing by a touchdown. Well, here, take a look in the wild card. And again, a reminder, the Dallas Cowboys only control their own destiny in terms of winning a divisional championship. Meaning they win their last 2 games, they're going to be division champs. The Giants win their final 2. Seattle wins its final 2. Both of those teams would be in the playoffs. Jarvis Jenkins wraps up McCoy on first down. That will be a loss of almost 5, call it 6.
Right here on the inside, what do we say that Philadelphia likes to do? Inside traps, inside shuffle passes, draws. So obviously your presence in the middle. Nice job by Jenkins there, stuffing the inside running game of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Dallas Reynolds has been at center since the injury to Jason Kelsey. Now Foles forced that one in there, but got the completed pass to Avant. Nope, they're saying incomplete.
And he's throwing the ball the only place you really can. He was bracketed on both sides. Yeah, it's low, and that would have been a great catch, but it's where he had to throw it to try to get a reception. Ball clearly goes onto the ground there. You can't use the ground to control it. If you have control of the ground simultaneously with your hands in the ground, that's a catch, but you can't use the ground to control the ball.
So third down and 14, and across the middle. Catch is made once more by Avant. Oh, we saw Andy Reid early in the game twice go on fourth down, and it's not even debatable. He's going once more.
Sure. In for a penny, in for a pound, right? You start the game that way. No different than I am right now. The only difference was when I did it before, I wasn't down by 7. No reason not to go for it here.
Well, they converted both of those fourth down chances on that opening drive, a drive which saw the Eagles score a touchdown. And now they go for it on fourth down and a very long 2. Foles looking for Selleck. And he is sacked back at midfield. And if that's Kerrigan, that's the third one he has. Lorenzo Alexander was there, but it looked like Kerrigan was the one who tripped him up around the ankle. That would be his third sack of the day. Well, he really tripped over his own man, but they're probably going to give Kerrigan credit for the sack.
Dennis Kelly getting caught one-on-one. We've talked about with King Dunlap and the rookie Dennis Kelly. 5th-round draft choice by Philadelphia, going one-on-one with Kerrigan and Rob Jackson, that you need a little help, particularly in critical situations. I'd say a 4th and 2 is pretty critical.
Well, now the Redskins have a chance to make it very, very tough. Now, granted, we're still talking about 4 minutes and a third, but you punch it in here, you could be on your way. Fox Sports is proud to partner with the Children's Organ Transplant Association during our NFL on Fox coverage. CODA is giving hope and making miracles for families whose children are facing transplants. If you'd love to change a child's life, and what's more important than that, please visit coda.org/Fox Sports.
You know what we haven't seen, Tom, is a shot down the field by the Redskins in this half. Might be a place to actually take that shot down the field. A couple good plays, but most of those have been underneath throws.
Well, they're going to stay conservative. And it's really not all that conservative when you're putting the ball in the hands of Alfred Morris. He has just had a spectacular rookie year, and were it not for his own teammate and some of the other rookie quarterbacks in the league, this guy would get heavy consideration for the Rookie of the Year.
And I mentioned earlier, obviously he's physical, he secures the ball, he gets positive yards, but I mentioned earlier, you saw there, he can make people miss. He's 4th in the league in doing that, and for a big man, that's a huge asset.
Look at the yards combined by Morris and Robert Griffin III. Almost 2,500 yards of offense, and a few more here. That's a gain of 8. And let's check in back in Los Angeles for an update.
Well, Atlanta has wrapped up the #1 seed in the NFC, but people forget Green Bay still has a shot at the #2 spot. Greg Jennings with a little 1-yard reception from Aaron Rodgers, part of a 34-0 shellacking they're putting on Tennessee right now, and there's still nearly 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, Tom and Brian.
Green Bay's beginning to look like that proverbial team that's playing its way into the playoffs, like we saw the Giants last year, like we saw Green Bay a couple years ago. That looks to be a dangerous football team.
Evan Royster on the pitch, and he gets enough for a first down to the 23. You know, everybody's so focused right now, Brian, on the NFC, the AFC, who's going to get in. And it's easy to forget about, you know, that home field advantage thing, because maybe that hasn't been quite as important, at least the last year or two, with what Green Bay did, the Giants did last year. But you know, for the 49ers, there's going to be a lot of pressure to hang on to that #2 seed. Because let's face it, you said it last night, everybody wants to play at home, regardless of what's happened the last 2 years.
Yeah, no coach in his right mind would say, oh, no, I don't want to have that bye. I want to continue to play through the wild card. Well, if I have to, I will. But I'd rather not do it if I had my druthers.
Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Trent Cole did not know Griffin, or at least it appeared he didn't know. I don't know how he would know. He knocked down the ball. Chasing records. Adrian Peterson in pursuit of Eric Dickerson's single-season rushing record.
I did it. Yo, Adrian, I want to hear it from you. Yo, Adrian.
Adrian.
You ought to say that to Adrian. That guy's impressive. He's doing it. Every time he gets the ball, looks like a team picture of whatever defense he's playing, because there's 9-10 guys on the line of scrimmage.
Dropped by Hankerson. It's been a problem for Hankerson. Yes, he caught a couple of touchdowns last week against Cleveland. But they need to get him to start hanging on to these kind of passes.
Well, remember the game against Pittsburgh where they had 10 drops, Tom. They could not get anything going because of the drops. And all of a sudden now you get down in the red zone. That puts you in a 3rd and long instead of a 3rd and short. That's a big drop.
Dallas and New Orleans tied at 17 midway through the third. Redskins lead here 20-13. A 3rd down and 10. Look into the end zone and
Spectacular.
caught. It is a touchdown into the corner to Santana Moss.
Spectacular throw. All on timing. This thing drops right into the bucket. That would have been perfect in a video game. Drags both feet, total control through the process. That is a brilliant throw and catch.
Boy, look at the left foot dragging the toe along the ground. Santana Moss came to the Redskins from the Jets in 2005. Look at the left foot. Right foot down, left drags across the turf. And the Redskins, with 1:31 to go in the third quarter, a 27-13 lead. And there's some pushing and shoving going on after that point after.
Well, remember, these are division rivals, regardless of the circumstance of one versus the other. Remember the last game we had with this crew, and we started our conversation with RG3. He went 14 of 15 in that game. And what did I ask him? I said, well, what happened on that 15? Right. And you know what? He started to answer it. I mean, I was just joking. Well, here's what hey, man, I'm kidding. 14 of 15 is pretty good for 4 touchdowns. And I want you to watch the patience of him, of RG3. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. He knows he can't go too early. And it's just a matter of pitching and catching, letting it drop in a barrel. We used to literally put big trash cans, certain loft. You tend to throw those too flat. And, you put it out there and say, okay, you get $20 if you drop it.
You guys can have fun doing that.
Oh, sure, because it has to come in at a certain angle. That was the perfect angle. Too flat, it would have been out in front of the receiver, Santana Moss, and had no chance. You don't know how difficult a throw that was that he just made.
So who was the best quarterback when it came time to at least throwing it in the garbage can?
My problem was my quarterback coach was better than my quarterbacks. And that's why I'm sitting here in a booth with you instead of standing on a sideline, which I love doing, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's a nice catch. It's called a kick, save, and a beaut. We still have a long way to go here. And we have seen Philadelphia move the football today.
We have. We've seen them emotionally respond to the circumstances. Now it's an uphill battle now. You're down 27-13. It begins to have that feel that it's slipping away. Does the offense do what it did those last couple drives, continue to work down the field? The key is, right now you're trading touchdowns for field goals.
Forbath puts a foot on it. Very short kick. Takes a bounce, fielded by Brown at the 7. Still on his feet and tackled at the 21. Well, we're talking about Rookie of the Year candidate. I mean, it's been an unbelievable year, especially the quarterback position. We know about Griffin. We know about Andrew Luck. How about Russell Wilson out in Seattle? We mentioned Alfred Morris and then Doug Martin, 2 dynamic backs.
Oh, very worth it. That's my vote right there. Only because there were no expectations for that team whatsoever.
I'm voting right there.
Yeah, okay.
Robert Griffin III.
Hard not to. I just say because Indianapolis, the expectations for that team were so low, for them to be a playoff team now is substantial.
Yep. Up to the 27. But let me ask you, though. I mean, we know that. They were coming off the terrible year after they lost Peyton Manning. But what were the expectation of these Redskins? I mean, they were coming off another dismal season. They're talking about Mike Shanahan not getting the job done his first 2 years.
They had a defense in place. They had a pretty decent core of receivers. I think the expectations were higher for Washington than they were for Indianapolis. People were talking about Indianapolis barely winning 4 or 5 games.
180. How about that move by McCoy on Rob Jackson? And ends up picking up a first down up to the 33.
Rob Jackson will learn. Always make him go inside. You get into this situation, this is a no-win situation for a linebacker. Always err on the side of forcing him back into the heart of the defense.
McCoy, his first game in over a month. 10 carries, 30 yards. He's caught 3 passes out of the backfield for 23 more. Fake it to him. Here comes Kerrigan again. And he just flips it into the arms of McCoy. Somehow, some way, plants a foot and picks up a couple of more yards. That's the final play of the third quarter. Redskins a quarter of a way from a showdown at home next week against the Dallas Cowboys. (27-13). Redskins in front. We're set to begin the fourth quarter here in Philadelphia. And again, the NFC playoff picture. Atlanta wraps up home field advantage last night. Niners are in. Now they're trying to win the division. Big one later against Seattle. Green Bay a division champion. The Redskins, should they win today and beat Dallas next week, would win the NFC East for the first time since 1999. Foles rolling, throws, and out of bounds. Cooper did catch it, but could not get both feet in bounds.
Washington is kind of selling out on the inside. Here you can see pressure. The route's just to the outside. He sees that now Foles has broken contain. Now he's just trying to use his size and athleticism. Never got the right foot in. Nice call. Got control of the ball. Just right there, not early enough. And I don't think that left foot, toe, was out of bounds as well.
Last couple of weeks, second half has been ugly for the Eagles. Of course, there are a lot of their fans that are saying this whole season outside of the first month has been ugly. Cofield coming after Foles, who gets it away. He goes down hard. Redskins defense has been about sacks and takeaways. They had a strip, tip ball for an interception, and they have been on the hunt. The Foles, Kerrigan has 3 sacks in a game. Washington has 5 of them. Philadelphia quarterbacks have been sacked 47 times so far this year. Crawford from the 15. Good return by Crawford. Still on his feet. And a flag comes in very late. Hey, Crawford just got a chance to start returning punts 2 weeks ago against Baltimore. Brought one back in that game for 64 yards. In fact, he has supplanted Banks as their punt returner permanently.
During the return, holding by the receiving team number 32. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Washington keeps the ball, first down.
Second time a good return has been washed away. A kick return early, now a punt return.
Today's game is sponsored by the 2013 Chevrolet Silverado. Working hard on and off the field. By Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by T-Mobile, nationwide 4G coverage from coast to coast.
All right, Brian, did you have a cheesesteak while you were here in Philly?
We're going to have to start having a traveling cardiologist with us when we go on the road now.
Oh, man, I couldn't resist. Yesterday, had to get one. First down, Alfred Morris, a gain of 3. January the 4th, the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic from Dallas, Texas. Johnny Heisman, you called him Johnny Football. Johnny Manziel, a 9th-ranked Texas A&M against the 11th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Gus Johnson and Charles Davis will be on the call now.
Good Southwest Conference battle there. The quarterback for Oklahoma, Landry Jones, he's one some people are going to be talking about. Does he get pulled up into that first round? Everybody's so desperate for quarterbacks now. I know you think highly of it.
Griffin dumps it off to his tight end, Logan Paulson, and he is short of a first down. Your thoughts today, Brian, on the play of Robert Griffin III? We saw very early on he is nowhere near 100% running the ball.
And there's value in working him through what he has done today. We haven't seen any of the read option stuff, which is smart. We kind of got the sense of that. This game plan probably a little more similar to the game plan last week against Cleveland with Kirk Cousins than what we saw earlier, for instance, when we had these two teams more than a month ago. So I think it's a good, smart game plan. Gets him involved in the game, yet has not put him at undue risk.
How about that? You hear some of the Redskins fans that are here. Chris Cooley. They brought back on board the Redskins' all-time leader in receptions by a tight end. 428 of them. That is his first catch this year since they brought him back.
And how great is it that he gets to come back having been with the Redskins all those years and gets to be a part of this playoff run. I think that's great.
Boy, he was one mighty good player for a long, long time out of Utah State.
Utah State Aggie. I was there 3 years. I'm an Aggie. Cache Valley.
That's a beautiful town.
Oh, it's God's country. Absolutely gorgeous.
Morris, maybe a gain of 1. Let's check in along the sideline. Laura?
Tom, Philly's defense trying to stop this Washington offense right now without one of their brightest stars this whole season. Fletcher Cox not on the field. He's in the locker room being evaluated for a head injury. I'll update you with anything that I get coming up.
All right, Laura, thank you very much.
Right now, Philadelphia's got to do some things, maybe break out of character a little bit. They got to force a turnover. They can't just slowly bleed to death here, letting Washington work down the field. Getting turnovers has not been a strength of this defense, however.
Well, in fact, last week, as Griffin looks down the middle and throws high, and just as we say it, they get a tip pass for an interception. Colt Anderson flagged down, still on his feet across midfield, comes back the other way. There is a flag down, but Anderson all the way back to the 28. We started to talk about the fumble by Andy Dalton last week, the first takeaway by an Eagles defense since week 5 against New Orleans. And now they get the takeaway on the batted ball into the air, into the arms of Anderson, and we await on the penalty.
Well, it's just a tip ball. I mean, they have a chance for a play down the field. Colt Anderson playing center field, basically, fielding a punt, a little like the London Fletcher interception. You talked about it earlier, Tom, being minus 22 on the turnover differential.
After the interception, there were fouls on both plays. There was illegal block in the back by Philadelphia, number 72. There was also a personal foul, unnecessary roughness by Washington, number 75. Those fouls will offset if the spot of the Eagles foul. Since it happened after the change of possession, the Eagles keep the ball first down.
But it does come back, the fact that they orchestrate the first penalty, which brings it back, and then they move it forward based on Washington's penalty.
An update from Dallas. The Saints have jumped in front of the Cowboys 24-17. 4 minutes to go in the third of that one. A turnover forced by the Philadelphia defense, and now Foles throws in a triple coverage with an eye on Avant. Incomplete.
They can see right here, this is the first interception in 9 weeks. Colt Anderson inserted into the starting lineup, first due to injury and now due to play. RG3, we talk about Philadelphia not getting turnovers, where RG3's been unbelievable for a rookie quarterback. And for a team with a rookie quarterback to only have 13, now 14 turnovers in that regard, that's pretty spectacular.
Bryce Brown wrapped up in the line of scrimmage by Kerrigan. We check in back in Los Angeles for a game break.
Well, you showed the Dallas score. Here is how it happened. Cowboys, DeMarco Murray fumbles the ball deep in his own territory. Saints recover at the 5-yard line. 3 plays later, Drew Brees to Pierre Thomas. Saints have the lead, 24-17. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Thom and Brian.
With so many important games down to 15 minutes of a final quarter. Of course, it could come down to next weekend for so many teams. But right now, for teams like Dallas and Minnesota and these Redskins, Cincinnati, among others, as that is good enough for a first down by Damaris Johnson to the Washington 48-yard line.
D'Angelo Hall, I tell you what, has been bearing down on Nick Foles the last couple plays. Jim Haslett bringing him almost every snap. That was a heck of a throw by Foles under pressure.
Foles, easy completion to Avant, and that is close to another first down to the 38.
We continue with the chess match with the defense of the Washington Redskins showing all pressure, then dropping out. Nick Foles doing a nice job checking to a possible big play against Jim Haslett's zero coverage, meaning there is no free safety. They drop out passive and go zone. Nick Foles drops it off for a first down.
Again, easy throw. And McCoy tripped up by Dowdy. And he falls forward inside the 20-yard line.
Nice job picking up the pressure, and then you see McCoy coming inside. You know, you don't want to see this too often on the outside. Lorenzo Alexander's a pretty good player, but one-on-one with LaShawn McCoy, not a good matchup.
So now first down at the 17, and they hand it off to Dion Lewis. Cuts it back to the end zone. Lewis, his first touchdown of the season on his first carry of the afternoon. "17 yards, a season best. Lewis has only touched the ball 12 times all year long. So they take advantage of the interception and score on the carry by Dion Lewis. And a point after is good. Well, this one not quite wrapped up yet. A 7-point game, under 9 minutes to go.
Today's game is sponsored by the 2013 Chevrolet Silverado, working hard on and off the field.
Beautiful stroll through Philadelphia. So far, Philadelphia's answering. There's the question. Do you think about an onside kick here?
What do you think?
I don't think so. I think they kick it down the field.
You're right. Well, you've been right a lot today.
I kind of covered both sides of that one, though.
Niles Paul up to the 21-yard line. All right, so here you go. Redskins have a 7-point lead. The Cowboys are trailing by 7. The Redskins win today. They beat Dallas next week. They are division champs. There are other ways the Redskins can get into the playoffs. But we would be here until the playoffs have been decided, trying to explain every scenario under which Washington, Dallas, and or the Giants could get into the playoffs.
And like Tom Landry said when this all first started, if we're in, somebody will come tell us.
An important drive for the Redskins. And first down, a big gain from Morris. Still on his feet. And rumbles up to the 34-yard line. The biggest story of the day has to be that Minnesota is winning in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go in Houston. Because of all the teams at 8-6, Chicago is in Arizona. Take Seattle out of the mix for a minute because they're one game better than everybody else. Dallas is at home against a losing team in New Orleans. Giants got a big one on the road in Baltimore, but not a great Ravens team. But nobody gave Minnesota a chance today in Houston. Well, that Houston team, it seems like every time they play somebody in a big game or an important game, they have not shown up. Morris carries up to the 37-yard line.
I got to show. I'm in love with Alfred Morris, just the way he approaches the game. And let's look at what we were talking about earlier. First, you're going to see Bryce Brown. And look at the way he carries the ball out loose. This is eventually going to present a problem for him in terms of the ball turnover. Now on the right, I want you to see Alfred Morris. High and tight, strong. And this is a physical ball carrier. You can see right there. It's not like he's not expecting contact. This guy secures the ball, gets positive yards. He's a huge part, notwithstanding RG3, of why Washington's in this position.
And look at the numbers starting to pile up now after a slow first quarter for Alfred Morris. Safe throw and a catch by Morgan. And he's up to the 49-yard line. That's a first down.
We talk about being impressed with the way Philadelphia has responded emotionally under tough circumstances. Well, I tell you what, RG3 and this Washington Redskin offense has responded every time they've faltered a little bit, and we've seen Philadelphia move the ball down the field a couple times, got a break on the turnover. The Washington Redskin offense has stepped up and responded to the adversity.
Lewis, after the touchdown, brought him within 7, hoping for a defensive stop. For the Redskins, a couple of first downs, and now back to Morris. And that's a gain of 2. That last catch by Joshua Morgan, to give you an idea about the balance. We know about their running game, but in their receiving game, they've had injuries to some of their wide receivers, and now 4 players. Garcon, Moss, Hankerson, Morgan, all over 500 yards. Had Fred Davis stayed healthy, their great tight end, he would have been far beyond 500.
And when Pierre Garcon and Josh Morgan were signed, it was kind of the under-the-radar signing. Vincent Jackson down in Tampa Bay, that was the big one. The combination of these 2 guys, I thought, was a major signing by the Washington Redskins.
Well, they pitch it back to Morris. He is such a workhorse. 6 100-yard games, closing in on a 7th. I tell you what, he's going to go into the final weekend of his season with a legitimate chance. Forget the rookie record. He came into this game 195 yards short of the all-time Redskins single-season rushing record held by Clinton Portis.
Let's talk about the offensive line. The offensive line's a big part of that, and except now for Maurice Hurt being in for Tyler Columbus, this group up to this point had been together the entire season. That's a big part of it. It's a big part of why they've been successful in the running game.
Third down throw, and about a yard short of a first down. And at this place of the field, there is no way with a 7-point lead and 5 minutes left to go that Mike Shanahan goes for it 4th down and a yard, does he?
No, not with a 1-score differential. You got to push this thing, punt this down inside the 10, hopefully.
I mean, you're going to be within a foot, it looks like.
The chains are on the opposite side of the field, so that marker that we see there is not the official marker. So right there it looks short, but we're going to see the official mark. So this could be closer than we think. I don't think Mike Shanahan would go for it. I'm going to believe in my defense against a rookie quarterback. I'm going to punt it down the field, and they're short.
There you see him standing here.
He's going to punt it.
Oh, look at that.
I think
he's sending Robert Griffin to the third back on the field.
I thought he said they're going to punt it.
Well, now this is where to draw him offside.
That could be true, and that could be very true, particularly with a healthy RG3. Maybe given some of the options. Right now, Philadelphia has been very good about taking away the edges. They have not yet run the read option with RG3. So typically in this situation, that would be a super. Andy Reid saying right there, listen, look, do not get drawn off sides.
They said watch the ball, watch the ball. And with that in mind, I mean, I think that he thinks that she thinks that he thinks, were they snapping? Maybe on their heels a little bit.
Nice job by both sides.
Yep.
Because typically it's not just trying to draw them off. How many times have we seen Tom Brady-esque that you set it up, okay, we're going to act like we're trying to draw you off, relax, and then come back and snap it again. So great discipline on the part of the Philadelphia Eagles not getting drawn into it.
I'll tell you one thing, I mean, just for what it's worth, here you have a rookie quarterback. What does this tell you? That is the first delay of game penalty against the Washington Redskins this entire year.
That's incredible.
It really is. With all the games you and I see, and we're looking at each other going, how in the world can't they get a playoff?
All the telltale signs of a rookie quarterback, those types of procedure penalties, interceptions, and you just don't get it with this kid.
Rocca punts to the 15, fair catch by Johnson. So now Foles will be the rookie quarterback that has a chance to do a game-tying touchdown drive. So much speculation. This will be the final home game after 14 years as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles for Andy Reid. The owner, Jeffrey Lurie, has not made any comment. All speculation, the 8-game losing streak on a first down. It is Johnson. And that'll be a gain of about 3, maybe 4. Andy Reid hired his head coach 5,096 days ago. Hired in 1999. And after one losing season, the Eagles won 11 or more games each of the next 5 years. Got the NFC title game 4 times, one trip to the Super Bowl. But they have not won a playoff game since 2008. And I think it's safe to say, Brian, that it has been a steady decline as Foles continues to buy time, dangerously close to the line of scrimmage, and gets it away for a first down. That's Jeremy Maclin up to the 35-yard line.
And that's a Nick Foles who's not supposed to be very athletic outside the pocket, going to his left. Again, throwing out of position, so to speak. This kid does show an accuracy down the field in whatever position he finds himself.
Foles once more. Finds Avant, and that's up to the 42-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 5.
Well, you talked about Andy Reid and where he's at. I will tell you that sometimes change just comes. And they may go another direction. And you can get a different coach than Andy Reid for any number of reasons, but you're not going to get a better coach than Andy Reid.
Sean McCoy about a half-yard short of a first down. Of course, it's been such a terrible, tragic year for Andy Reid. His son Garrett, who faced all the addiction trouble and lost that battle with his death during training camp. Words cannot begin to describe. Losing your job is not even on the radar compared to something like that in your life. But he has meant a great deal to this Eagles franchise. We're back in a moment. .140 wins, including the playoffs. 9 of his 13 years, the Eagles have gone to the playoffs. I mean, everybody says it's a done deal, Brian. I never like saying that because it's not up to you and I to determine who's hired and who's fired. And there's only one guy ultimately, and that's Jeffrey Lurie, who's going to make that decision. But certainly that speculation is everywhere and has been for quite some time.
Well, you've got to understand, and Jeffrey Lurie, like every owner, an organization is a living, breathing entity. And like anything, it goes through changes. Andy Reid, you want to put it in context, Andy Reid and I were hired at the same time. And I've been out of it for 5 years, and I feel real old, you know. That's a long time to be a head coach in the National Football League. You tend to go through the ebbs and flows. If you're lucky enough to last, it means because you've been pretty good to begin with. Usually you're gone after the 4th or 5th year. There usually is a little bit of dip, and then you usually can come back. Andy Reid has done that. The thing he's not done is being able to win a championship. They're clearly in a bit of a down cycle, and what Mr. Lurie has to decide is, I try this next transition as I go into this next phase. Do you do it with an Andy Reid who's been for 14 years, or do you go for a different feel, a different energy going forward? Just like does an Andy Reid, is it time for him to try something new at this stage in his career? But like Andy told us, he's not thinking about that right now. There's no profit in that. There's no upside. He's a ball coach that wants to focus on the task in hand, which right now is getting a 3rd and 1 against the Washington Redskins on the 45-yard line.
And they hand it off to McCoy, and he escapes one tackle and gets the first down, crossing midfield. He broke away from Stephen Bowen, who is playing with a torn tendon in his left bicep. So we're at the 2-minute warning. Eagles, still a shot. Philadelphia, the only touchdown, the only scoring in this 4th quarter. They have the ball just across midfield. 2 minutes to go, trailing by 7. Mike Shanahan's Redskins trying to hang on, win their 6th straight game, and play for a chance at a division title next weekend. Alexander wraps up Maclin after a 6-yard gain, and they're in hurry-up mode for the Eagles. They do have all 3 of their timeouts.
I pointed out Ryan Kerrigan, because they're moving him around a little bit. They're trying to find just the right matchup here to see if he can get home to the quarterback, Foles.
Another short pass, a short completion to LaShawn McCoy, and that's good enough for a first down to the Washington 37-yard line.
Clearly the clock's in the favor of the Washington Redskins, but Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, has got to be careful. You can become too passive, even with the clock on your side.
Foles pump fake, and another very short pass. That may have picked up 2 yards to McCoy. And now they'll spend a timeout. 1:06. So 2 more timeouts remain. You know, I want to ask you ahead of time. You were asked this question during the commercial break. If, and I know it's a big if, but if the Philadelphia Eagles were to score a touchdown and get within 1 point. We've seen Andy Reid 3 times today go for it on 4th down. You're 4-10. Would he go for the 2-point conversion and the win against his division rival?
Yeah, why not? You have those conversations during the week with your staff. What are we going to do if? To the Washington Redskins on the road. How's the game gone? Has my defense held up? Now, his offense has been up and down the field pretty good, but his defense has been a little bit vulnerable. Why not? Where you're in right now, you've already shown what you're going to do on 4th down. Let's go for a 2-point conversion.
All right, 2nd down and 7. First things first. Avant leveled as he caught it by D'Angelo Hall. Clock continues to run. We're under a minute.
They're going to make him do it with a guy like LaShawn McCoy dropping the ball underneath. They're not going to let Avant, Macklin, or Cooper get in the back of the end zone for an end zone shot, or at least not try to.
Good protection, and now Foles will pump fake and slide down to the 24. And Philly's going to have to take a timeout. 37 seconds remain. By the way, that run got him a first down.
Again, not a great athlete, but he climbs the pocket. He's looking for something. Nice job on the outside with Lorenzo Alexander, who's already been victimized by Macklin, shutting him off for that little dump off you saw right there. Foles wanted to drop the ball, so he gets down, converts on the 3rd down. Now gives himself another set of downs to try to get in the end zone.
Well, while we have a timeout, let's check in back in Los Angeles for a game break.
Well, the Saints beginning to take control against the Cowboys. Drew Brees hooks up with Marcus Colston. He takes it 60 yards all the way down to the 3-yard line. A couple of plays later, Brees hooked up with David Thomas for the touchdown. 31-17, 10 minutes to go. Time permitting, we'll take your audience to the conclusion of that game in Dallas.
Thank you very much. 37 seconds here. First down. And Foles underneath once more. McCoy trying to think about getting to the sideline, but Richard Crawford kept him contained into the middle of the field. And we're under 30 seconds, and Philadelphia burns its final timeout. Well, Brian, a little bit surprising. 4 consecutive plays, all stuff in the middle of the field where they've had to use 3 consecutive timeouts rather than something to the corner or to the sideline where you can step out of bounds and stop the clock.
But they had the timeouts. That was the luxury. You're right. Otherwise, they would have been forced to do that. You don't want to force Nick Foles into a throw because now that could be a turnover. Like we said, the other guys on the other side of the field get paid too. They're not going to give an easy throw into the end zone for a touchdown. Too many things can happen. They're going to see if they can orchestrate a throw underneath to LaShawn McCoy. Can we tackle in the open field? That's what's going to test the Washington Redskins right now. If LaShawn McCoy gets the ball underneath this defense, can they rally up and tackle him and keep him out of the end zone?
The Eagles need a touchdown and a point after to tie the game to the end zone, and it's overthrown. 23 seconds left.
They sold out there. They went total protection, thinking it might be one of those zero blitzes we're talking about. A zero blitz being no safety in the middle of the field. And again, Washington crossed them up, brought a 4-man rush, and dropped into the secondary. Marty Warningwig, you look at your preparation and you're trying to guess right here. Now we've got a 3rd and short. This is a dangerous territory for a defense. You want to stop the 3rd down, but you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable to the shot to the end zone.
Good protection. Foles underthrown and out a wide open Jeremy Maclin in the end zone.
Just too careful. Maclin running a corner route down the field, just looking for the ball right now. Give it to me. Had a touchdown. Foles couldn't believe what he saw. Couldn't get the ball up and down quick enough. Boy, the safety needed to be all over this. You can't worry about what's going inside when you've got nothing threat. This is a 4th down play. 4th and 2.
4th and 2. They're 2 of 3 on 4th down today. They need this one, and that's the play that's been there for him. 1st down inside the 10. McCoy to the 5 and run out of bounds. Clock stops with 11 seconds left.
Now here's the dilemma, and you just talked about it, Tom. They used the 3 timeouts with the earlier play calls. You've got 11 seconds. You don't have a lot of latitude. You could hand it off or drop it off underneath and then have time because of the 1st down to kill it. So you do have time. A little tight. You're going to have to hurry. It doesn't have to be straight shots to the end zone, but it's going to take a high degree of efficiency if you don't take that end zone shot.
Dion Lewis in the backfield. Quick strike, and it is an incomplete pass. Oh, my goodness. That's Evan Moore. We talked about they just brought him in this week after the injury, the season injuries to Harbor and Havili.
5-year veteran out of Stanford. Been with a lot of teams. They had the matchup. Gosh, you got to catch that. Now they're in a different situation. They don't have time to, whoever gets the ball in their hands has got to score with it if it's not an end zone shot.
8 seconds left. Foles looking. This will be the final play, and he cannot get it away, and there is 1 second left on the clock. Bowen had him wrapped up.
That is the ultimate coverage sack. A lot of bodies in the end zone here. You can see Maclin inside. Josh Wilson all over it. We just saw Moore drop a pass. He's cut off in the inside with the linebackers and the safeties. On the right side in the back of the end zone, nothing there. Nice job. We got a penalty.
Well, if it's a penalty, did not get the ball back to the line of scrimmage.
10-second runoff.
Yep. And the Washington Redskins.
By the offense, that brings with it a 10-second runoff. The game is over.
The Washington Redskins will play for a divisional championship on their home field against Dallas next week.
This is a 3-man rush. Nick Foles gets outside. It's a lie. Somebody, please, just give me some place to go. And what a great job on the inside on just a 3-man rush was Stephen Bowen coming in and taking Nick Foles down for the sack and the penalty. Game,
6
set, and match.
Straight wins for the Washington Redskins. With help later, they could be on their way to the playoffs. Let's go back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Merry Christmas.